All right, we're going to assemble the Piccolo Banjo. So we're going to start with the version that the fretboard has to be glued onto the neck. If you're printed the AMS or integrated version where everything printed is one, then don't worry about it. You'll just skip the gluing the fretboard part, and we'll show that in one moment. So the pieces that we need are going to be the neck, the fretboard, and 5 of the fret markers. There's a bevel on one end of the fret markers. That bevel is going to go down, so that's very important. And we're going to use some glue. This is what I'm using, this acrylic glue I've had good luck with. CA glue should work as well. So before we get started, I will put on my gloves. And we'll start by just putting a little drop in each of the fret marker holes. Oops, that is more than a drop, but that's okay. We'll spread that out. And now we take the fret markers, bevel side down, and we're just going to push those in. They should go in real easy. The fret markers are used as a registration so that the fretboard lines up correctly. We won't put any more glue on the fret markers because we don't want it to seep up when we go. And we'll just put a few dabs, not too much, because we don't want it to seep out. And then we'll just do a tiny bit up here. You got to be careful up towards the top because you don't want it to seep out on the grooves where it's going to snap into place later. So with that, I'm going to get a little piece of paper towel and kind of spread it around just a little bit. Flatten it out. Just put a real light amount on the top there. Same thing here. So we get near the edge without overdoing it on the amount of glue that we have. That should hopefully be enough. I don't believe that we need too much. And then next we are going to just push the fretboard on over those fret markers. Should snap in place. And there you have it. Now, after you get this all snapped in place, next up is just to clamp it. Now I included in the print profile and in the posting this little clamp helper. It's not required, but it ensures that we press down and properly clamp down these fret marker holes, which is fret marker pieces, excuse me. So I'm going to put a little piece of parchment just in case glue seeps up. I don't think it will, but I like to be on the safe side. So there's that. We have that lined up. And now we will just simply clamp it with some clamps here. Can probably use a lot less clamps than that. And that is it for attaching the fretboard. You set aside and come back once it's fully cured according to the instructions. I'd wait at least a few hours, but as always, waiting a day is best for something like that. Next, we will show you how to assemble the banjo once that has dried. So the parts that you need for the Piccolo Banjo are going to be the completed assembled neck. So this is the one that's printed all at once. If there's any little straggle strings inside the grooves or holes, make sure you snap that off or clean it up. Usually prints pretty nice without any big issue. So we have the neck. We have the stiffening rod, the tailpiece, the headstock. There are 2 to pick from. So this one here is for the 3D printed tuners, and there's a link to the ones that is made for in the description. There's also a headstock that is made for some cheap tuners that you can buy on Amazon. So you pick the correct one. So after the headstock, and then we'll have a nut. There's two versions. This is the 2.5 millimeter one, and then a 5th string nut as well for the 5th string. And then finally, of course, we have the head. So let's go ahead and get started. Everything should just snap into place. We're going to start with this coordinator or stiffening rod, and it should just go right in here. And really, as long as you push down evenly on both sides, it should just slide and snap into place when you're done. Without too much issue. It's a little tight. There we go. And then that is in place. So what I like to do next is attach the headstock to the neck. And again, this you just line up the grooves there, and it should just snap into place as well. Pretty straightforward. And then these grooves here fit into the slots on the, or the grooves on the rim fit into these slots on the neck. So I did take a little piece of sandpaper here because there are some overhangs, one of the few places that the print has support material, and just slightly clean up, making sure there's no debris in there, as this is a very snug fit. So what I do is I set that down on the table, line it up, and this is at an angle. Oops, sorry, took it off camera a little bit. And we will just simply snap that down into place. Camera moved. And that should be all we need there. So as you can see, that is snapped firmly into place. And we're good to go. Next, we're going to do the tailpiece. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. And it slides in there and should just snap into place as well. And there, oops, there you have it. The tailpiece is snapped into place. The last two parts are going to be the nuts. Let me take these gloves off. They're getting in the way a little bit. So the curved part goes towards the headstock, and it goes into the groove, and you just snap that into place as well. There we go. It's taking a little bit of pressure, but the strings will hold it down, so that's in place. And then on the 5th string nut, the bevel part with a little slot in it goes on top, because that's going to hold the string. So you just push that in place, and if you have to, you can use a little screwdriver to line that up so it's vertical where it catches the string. And that is, there we go. The nut's not staying on, but that's okay because the strings hold it in place once you string it. So that is the Piccolo Banjo assembly.